What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Party on Broad. Our hate week continues, or the last couple of weeks. Last week, we did our all-time worst coaches, owners in Philly sports history, and today, might as well just wrap this up and talk about the most infamous villains in Philly sports history. And there's no restrictions on this thing. Owners, players, fan bases, you name it. We're going to go through it all. And it's a draft. It'll be 5 rounds. Nobody knows each other's lists. And we're going to have some fun with this. Joining us, Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. What's up, Ryan?
Not much. Ready to talk about people that I hate. So.
Which is basically 75% of Ryan's daily life.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you're right. So either way, then I'm well prepared.
Also joining us, Rob Lange at Philly_Madness. What's good, Rob?
You guys know I love talking about people I hate, so this is right up my alley. I'm thoroughly excited for this one.
Yep. As always, guys, we're gonna draft our selections and throw it on YouTube for voting. I'm on a winning streak here, Ryan. So pick up your game, dude. I have far and away won most of these polls these last few weeks. So we will be doing a real prize. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Come wake me up when it's mock draft season, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Here we go.
Come alive.
That's fair.
By the way, I know
I will take every win I can get against.
By the way, if Pumper's listening, he's not going to be happy. But I'm fully off the Ace Bailey train now. Fully off it.
No, I'm with you, Rob. It is draft week. Maybe Ace Bailey's on this list. Who knows?
That'd be really funny.
What in the hell is going on? It's rigged. The system is rigged. No, don't clap. Don't clap, you a-holes.
I'm actually pretty happy about that. Usually I don't want the first overall.
I'll get the hell out of here. Don't you keep going. Don't you keep going. Yeah. Oh, my God.
I can't wait to take your guy.
That's bull. That is bull.
All right, so we are doing 5 rounds. Last time we had a dedicated set amount of rounds, but we might as well have made it like an extra round just because it's fun.
Yeah.
Marshawn says Trey Johnson or Ryan.
Once again, I've gotten to the point where I'm not going to be upset with really anybody that they draft in that top 6 range, but the whole Ace Bailey thing just irks me now. You know what I mean? So, that's why I'm kind of out on him, but all the other guys that people are throwing out there, I get it. I understand why you would draft that guy.
Yeah. Zaire Smith is a villain, not as
No, the damn food staff of the Sixers, because they almost killed that poor guy. They gave him a poppy seed bagel, and he almost died. That is true.
Listen, shouldn't that weakness have been on his draft report?
It was. He had an allergy. They didn't pay attention.
I wouldn't have drafted him because of it.
All right, let's get this thing rolling. I got the first overall selection, and I'm happy to make the selection. What's that?
What? Rigged? What?
It is rigged. Yeah, it's not. This is the NBA draft. I am Adam Silver, and I'm making this pick, and I don't even know if this is your guys' first overall pick, but I'm going for guys you just hate. Guys you hate. And it's a sport that I'm not going to touch the rest of this draft.
No!
I am going Sidney Crosby with the first overall selection.
Okay.
Tormented the Flyers in the playoffs. Just the biggest whiner there is. Always got star treatment. Just a symbol of the Penguins' dominance during the Flyers era, and I just hate him. I think fans hate him, and I think it's going to get a lot of votes. So I'm going Sidney Crosby.
Cry, baby. I get it.
Oh, I hate him so much.
It's a baby back bitch.
He said, baby back bitch.
Daniel, what's going on, man? Ben Simmons goes first overall. If Carter Hart doesn't make the list.
That's just, I don't think we can. That's just wrong. There's so much
Ryan.
wrong there.
So the best part about the way you set that up, Dives, is now why 100% know that Rob is thinking hockey. I had no direction. I was just going to let my heart spew the hate for my selection, but mostly because I love upsetting Rob, I am going to select somebody for my choice, and it is a Flyers villain, somebody during the Legion of Boom time. Somebody that played on a team that might be in the state that somebody is currently living in. And that would be defenseman, Mr. Scott Stevens.
I hate you. I hate you.
Let's go.
I had the whole setup ready. I had everything ready to go. I had the date. I had May 26th of the year 2000. I had the Flyers in the midst of an epic collapse, up 3-1 on the Devils in the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 7, Eric Lindros elects to come back after missing most of the series.
Should have kept his head up.
3 minutes into the game, it was ruined for all of us. And now, I hope bad things, not things that hurt him physically, but bad things happen to Ryan.
Yeah. Well, listen.
This is history right here. Back-to-back Flyers on anything is history.
Listen, Rob, after you once again, not only last year,
don't talk to me,
but this year, 2 years in a row,
I'm not listening to you,
fail the last second for the Beer Olympics.
That's fair. I can't argue this point.
This is kind of what you get. So
yeah, I can't argue this point. This is fair. This is fair territory. You are correct, sir.
All right, Rob. The good news is you do have back-to-back picks.
You do.
Yeah. And the good news is there are a lot of people to hate if you're a Philadelphia sports fan. I'm going to add the first person to actually play here, and then just become an absolute hated man. And this goes to the Philadelphia Phillies.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh,
and I got to tell you, this third baseman was going to rewrite the history books. Everyone, he was going to be the new Mike Schmidt, and the poor little baby couldn't take the pressure of Philadelphia. He couldn't do it. And that's Scott Rowland. What a twerp. That's right. I'm bringing back old words. He was a twerp. Hated Scott Rowland.
Okay. Love that.
Scott Rowland's a great pick.
Yeah.
Great.
Hate
All
the face.
Yeah, now I got to look. I mean,
There's
there's
high on my list.
yeah, there are so many I can go with at this point.
So many.
Like, do I go with a full fan base?
I have a whole list of people I hate.
Yeah,
Buffalo Bills fan base, Rob. Come on.
No, I love that fan base. Are you kidding me? I want to. If I ever have to leave this fan base, that's who I'm joining.
Oh wow.
But
Kindred spirits.
Oh no, it was the Browns. It might have been the Browns.
Oh, the Browns. Yes, the Browns. They're just stupid. I don't hate them. They're just stupid.
They're stupid.
I just feel bad for them. But I'm gonna go with Ryan's favorite NFL team right here.
Oh.
And I'm gonna take a trip down to Dallas, Texas.
What?
Okay, and there was a wide receiver there who we watched the end of his career on our field.
Yeah, sure did.
And it's the only time I think that I've ever not been mad at a fan base for kind of cheering in the moment, because you want to talk about a scumbag of a human being and it's just a jerk of a player, also a really good player, but just a jerk. Michael Irvin is that guy. So I'm going to go with two really you just hear their name and you cringe with my two picks.
Amazing back-to-back picks, Rob.
Yeah, good choice. I mean, I'm sure you'd still rather have Scott Stevens, but
I'm not talking to you anymore. Why?
So I am going to go with a Philadelphia Eagle.
What?
Well, more specifically, a coach.
Yeah, I knew that.
Damn it.
He's going to say Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, right. I love me some Sirianni. Yeah, give me Chip Kelly. The man absolutely traded away every fantastic Eagles fan favorite, dismantled a team, a playoff team, and just thought he was the biggest genius in the world. And well, listen, the only good thing about it is he created what is now known as Mega Howie, and he has been on a tear ever since he got out of that broom closet. So
All right. That was a really good selection. That was
Yeah.
definitely my next selection. Michael Coca-Cola Irvin. Where's Orlando Skandrick?
Like a Coca-Cola Irvin.
Frank Gore.
I mean, listen.
I love
a good
Frank.
one. That's a good one. F. Frank Gore.
I love Frank.
And his kid, too.
Ooh.
Because why not?
Wow.
F them kids.
Wow.
All right. I'm next on the clock, and you guys know where this is going. You just watched the OKC Thunder win an NBA championship while Sam Hinkie got shat on by the NBA. Sam Presti, came out like roses. Nothing happened to him. And with the Sixers, the Colangelos completely decimated the Philadelphia 76ers, whether that was taking Furkan Korkmaz over Pascal Siakam. I mean, you could go on. There's so many mistakes. There's way too many mistakes you could go with this one. But I'm going to go the Colangelos with, remember all the media, especially Philly sports media, say, oh, we need a basketball mind. We need a basketball dude in the front office. And it was just a complete disaster. Complete disaster. I'm going to Colangelos, and that's both of them. They're just frauds. And that was a really good pick with Chip Kelly. That kind of threw me a little bit. I'm scrambling.
It's my plan.
I'm scrambling. I have a really good one that I don't know if you guys have.
I personally would love to get someone from all four sports, but we'll see if I can get there.
We have Ben Simmons from Marshawn. I already went Sixers. I am gonna try and be somewhat balanced in this thing. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And he's a guy that broke my heart. And I'm going to the mound. I'm going to the diamond. I'm going baseball. And there's so many villains when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies. And there's Hall of Famers that, broke the Phillies back. And there's guys that are great players. But the one that fucking pisses me off is Cody Ross.
Yeah.
Cody fucking Ross. That was one of the best Phillies teams they have ever put together. Cliff Lee, Roy Halladay, Roy Oswalt, and Cody Ross went in that NLCS. He had two homers in game one, a homer again in game two against Roy Oswalt. Yeah. He had the first run in game three, a double to start a late game rally in game four. Cody Ross hit 350 in that series, 7 of 20, 3 doubles, 3 homers, 5 RBIs. The rest of the Giants hit 1 home run in 181 at bat.
The guy was seriously the greatest baseball player in the history of the game for a series. Yeah. It was
Cody
absurd.
Ross, that guy, and more importantly, that was the end of me when it comes to Phillies baseball. I was ruined after that. Ruined as a Philly fan in terms of watching the Phillies. That he was the catalyst of that. So I'm going Cody Ross, and I don't know how many votes that's going to get, but Ryan,
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. He was a son of a bitch, and there's nothing else to say about it. But
he's just a son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
The American nightmare.
I'm going to go with the Sixers. Surprisingly, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna actually go with a player on the Sixers that was here for a season. But he's most known for being a Boston Celtic.
Oh God!
Oh, this is a good one.
And that's Al Horford. We thought,
Bastard.
Hey, you know what? Al Horford, we're teaming him up with Embiid. My God, this is going to be great. And what does Al Horford do? But absolutely suck at life.
I don't know how to play that position. I don't know how to play this position.
This guy was such a bitch. And his stupid whore of a sister, constantly talking online.
Wow.
Shut the F up.
Wow.
Do your damn job. And then what does he do? He goes back to Boston and he's Al Horford again. What a shocker. You know what? F you. I hope you stub your toe every day for the rest of your goddamn life.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Wow.
There you go. Sorry.
That might have been the greatest. I can't wait to clip that. That was terrific.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Al Horford, when Embiid carried the entire team, all Al Horford had to do was just this much.
A little bit.
This much.
Yep.
He did nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
All right. So I do want to get all 4 teams, but right now I got to go back somewhere I've already been. And I want to go back. This is probably the first true Philadelphia sports fan heartbreak I could feel and that I remember vividly. And someone put something in the chat earlier. Touch 'em all, Joe. When Joe Carter ripped my frigging heart out. Like, that was a team that had no business being there, but then they were there. And if you remember in that series, there was a game. I was at the game, actually, as a young kid, 9 years old. They were up 14-9 in like the 7th inning and lost 16-14. And then game 6, they have a 1-run lead and Mitch Williams is in. And the only place you don't go is down and inside to Joe Carter. It's the one place you don't throw the ball. And he throws it down and inside. And it just, the image is still ingrained in here. So Joe Carter is definitely a guy I hate for ruining a young man's Phillies fanhood there for a long time. And after that, what's that?
It was a tough day. I literally that's where I began my hatred of an entire nation.
I was going to say of Canada.
Yeah. I still hate Canada to this day.
Yeah. You know,
I apologize.
And then I got to tell you, like, I'm gonna take a sixer here. Ooh. And I think that the whole Ben Simmons thing is just too easy. I don't want to do that. Because I think that that's too easy. I'm going to take a sixer who elected that bowling was going to be more important to him than actually ever playing for this team after they gave him a fanfare of a welcome the day they traded for him like he was going to be the savior, and he never played a freaking minute. And that is Andrew Bynum. You want to talk about a guy who stole money? At least Al Horford went on the goddamn court for 5 seconds. This moron bowled with a knee that couldn't get on the basketball court. I will always hate Andrew Bynum for that nonsense.
Yeah, he was a son of a bitch.
One of the all-timers. I remember taking off work to watch the press conference with Jason Richardson and Bynum saying he feels like he can be here for the rest of his career. And then you fast forward like months in advance. I remember them like talking about how, science is figuring out ways to, form like knee repair, like ligament in a petri dish. And I'm just like, what? I just remember that I lost all respect for Doug Collins when he was asked about him in a press conference. He said, well, you just got to pray for him. No. I'm not praying for this dumbass. No. Shut up, Doug. And that was when I started to hate Doug Collins as well. Pump Man says we're forgetting Alan Brett. We gave him a shout out last week, Pump Man. Listen, we could be mad at him, but like I don't know if I could ever truly hate or look at him as a villain. He's too nice. His time in the front office was really bad, Rob.
I mean, listen, I think there is a difference.
He's directly tied to Tobias.
Yeah,
I guess.
That was also that you got to remember that the whole Tobias thing takes place in the year where they're like they don't have a GM for like 6 weeks and they're just like scrambling to get shit done.
But I think the Tobias thing goes hand in hand with Jimmy Butler and all that kind of nonsense. Yeah. All right, Ryan, you're up, man.
All right, man, this is tough. It's hard to pinpoint the hate here because I hate a lot of people.
Yeah, I feel like we should have had 10 picks in this draft.
We should have had 50 picks. We'd be here all fucking night. I could listen. This might be one of those like we'll just keep going until we run out of people to hate. I feel like, hey, that could be a nice long running show that we do. But you know what? I'm going to go with something a little bit more recent. And listen, you may or may not agree with me here. But this type of behavior, I think, is pretty indicative of the bitch culture that we live in with these kids today.
I know where you're going, and I love it.
And listen, I don't. I know I said I'm going to try to get one of everybody, but I have to go back to Flyers here. And I'm going to go with Cutter Gauthier.
Nice.
I think what he ended up doing was such a freaking bitch move, crying he didn't want to play for a tough coach, and basically going back on everything that he said. And I don't like that kind of stuff. I think that was something, that move alone was something that pivoted the rebuild. No, I wish. Why? Why? I think my list is freaking awesome.
No, you're just angry. I think that's why he's saying it. You're just
maybe. Well, listen, maybe my last pick, I'll have Pumper on there. I don't know.
We do more therapy sessions on this show than anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's 100% true.
But yeah, Cutter Gauthier, if you're listening right here, buddy, right here. I ever see you, I'll slap you right in your face, right in front of your mama. I don't care.
I like to slap too. I like to not punch. I'm going to slap you.
Oh, absolutely.
That's even more disrespectful, I feel.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And that was a guy that was really high on. I remember doing a show on.
I'm so excited about him.
Because last year, this year, I always update my top 25, under 25. I think Cutter was literally top 5. I was so excited for him.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he just.
Pump's right. The backhand slap across somebody's face. So disrespectful. Love it.
Yeah.
I know David. David, he's on the list. I just can't go another Philly, but maybe someone will take him.
All right, I'm going to go back-to-back birds with this. With my final 2 selections.
Back-to-back birds.
First, from my early years as a fan, really kind of a guy that symbolizes the Andy Reid era in many respects. I'm talking Rondé Barber. Barber.
Can you can I amend your own thing here and
just put the twins
/ Joe Jaravicius?
I guess so.
I mean, it's all really the Bucks, if you want to just say that, but
that Bucks team did kind of personify everything that went wrong.
Seriously. Yeah. Barber running 92 yards down the field during that pick when. That was the year the Eagles should have won. You had Joe Jaravicius still running.
That was the year.
I'm saying that
we all, everybody talks about, but that was also the year that the Eagles elected to let Jeremiah Trotter walk for the year, not replace him with anybody, and put Barry Gardner in the middle and say, "Hey Barry, cover Joe Jaravicius." Not a good plan ever.
No, not a good one at all.
All right, so I'm going to go personal with this selection.
Nice. This is the kind of stuff we like. Personal.
Ryan Reese.
Hey.
All right. I'm gonna go. I don't know if he's on your list, but the guy I'm talking about is Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney has to be one of the most hated villains for the Philadelphia Eagles in recent history. Whether that's Nick Foles, Carson Wentz. When I think of villains, I think of guys that put me down and really just ruined me. And the Eagles won the Super Bowl that year, but when Carson Wentz went down with that injury, that was hard. Those were some dark days. There was some NSYNC in the background. I'm lighting candles. I am a wreck. And I'm going to go Jadeveon Clowney with my last selection.
Don't hate it.
Wow. Well, you had me up until the NSYNC part, but all right.
What's wrong with NSYNC?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. Don't let Ryan talk you down on that.
Hey, you do you, buddy. Where's Draymond? Draymond Green?
I can't even. Why I hate him? He has nothing to do
I
with
hate
this.
Draymond Green, but he's not a real.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with us.
He's not our villain.
Yeah, he's just a dumbass.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of do a slasher here, mostly because I can. And this is it's personal. It's something that I've been hating for 44 years of my entire life. And it's something that I've already instilled hate through my child, which is couldn't be more proud of that fact. If that's the one thing that people remember that I taught my child, it's the hate for Jerry Jones / Cowboy Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Put them all together. Cowboys fans, Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, whatever you want to call it. Put whatever there. I don't care.
You just made my decision so much easier for my last pick.
Stinking cockroach Cowboys and their low life douchebag come out of absolute nowhere fans where they've been born in Philadelphia. They've never even left. They've never been on a plane, but yet somehow they're Dallas Cowboy fans. Those people irk the shit out of me. And Jerry Jones is a senile old bastard that I secretly love because I want him to live forever and make horrible decisions for this organization. Well, they'll never win another Super Bowl as long as he is alive.
That's a great one.
It is, and I was looking at both of those choices that you put in the one. I like that there. I'm going to go with one that's not going to probably get me a lot of fanfare because it was a while back. But when I think about my youth and my high school years and watching sports, there was one guy that, man, when his face got on the screen, I've never wanted to punch someone more. And, you know, the Flyers had this rivalry in the late 90s, early 2000s, randomly with the Buffalo Sabres, okay? They used to play the Buffalo Sabres a lot. And the Buffalo Sabres might have one of the greatest villains in the history of the NHL, but he absolutely got my blood boiling every time he was on the screen, and that would be Matthew Barnaby. And I got to tell you, you could go through the list of everybody, and I don't think any of them made me as physically and emotionally angry as Matthew Barnaby did in those late 90s, early 2000s when the Flyers would play him. That dude, my God, he was like the ultimate hate to face. The ultimate hate to face.
Yeah. No, that's a great one. I completely agree.
And I know it's not going to win me any fanfare on Twitter.
It's not, but listen, sometimes you got to make this thing personal.
Yeah. And that one was a a personal one for me.
I agree. Yeah, he was one of there was probably maybe a handful of those type guys.
Yeah, I have a couple.
At that time, that like I just couldn't stand it every single time. That like Ty
Domi's the other one. Yep, he's on my list. Yeah,
exactly. Like there's just constantly irked the shit out of me.
Would Ilya Brizgalov be on that list?
See, there's a couple other goalies from other teams that I were considered villains more than him because of how good they were. So like Marty Brodeur,
yeah.
Dominic Hasek were guys that I couldn't friggin' stand because of how good they were.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, there it is. Pumpman says Rob's list is comedy.
Sure.
Put in the rest of Scott Stevens' career.
Oh, I'm sorry that I went with a little bit more of a classic list of people that this town absolutely hated.
What's up, Nick? Thanks for joining, man. We are not streaming the NBA draft. Sorry, man. That's just don't have the time this year. All right, let's go through our lists. Grade it A to F. And by the way, I think we crushed this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did really good. I mean, there are definitely a lot of honorable mentions I'm looking at, but we did really good.
We'll get to honorable mentions afterwards because I have a few. I'm sure we all have a few. But I think overall, pound for pound, we crushed this.
List, huh?
I went Sidney Crosby, the Colangelos, Cody Ross, the Bucks in 2002, something like that.
Yeah, something
and
like
then
that.
Jadeveon Clowney with his hit on Foles and his hit on Wentz. Ryan, how would you grade mine 8F?
Listen, I think this is a solid B plus. Sidney Crosby is one of the talk about hate the face.
Yeah.
I mean, if this guy isn't the biggest baby bitch I have ever seen in my life, so yeah, he's a guy who'd get a slap. The Colangelos, well, they were obviously placed here, and they didn't do a damn thing. Cody Ross was just decided to be, Babe Ruth for 6 games. And the Bucks, that hurts so bad because we owned the Bucks up until that point, and then all of a
That
sudden
should have been. We should have 3 Super Bowl rings right now. That should have been the first one that year, man.
Yeah, and Jadeveon Clowney, yeah, man, he did himself no favors by just abusing our quarterbacks. So, yeah.
All right, Rob.
Yeah, I like the B plus grade. I think Jadeveon Clowney is a guy I hate, but is he one of the top 15? I don't know. When we were including a lot of like fan bases and stuff like that. But I love the other picks. The Sidney Crosby one is an ultimate great number 1 overall selection.
Sure.
You can't complain about that.
Adam Silver not on the list. That is a really good one. I went to Colangelos because of the nepotism and
burner accounts.
The burner accounts and
but I went to Colangelos with the burner accounts and all that, find a new slang. That was just a classic. Ryan, tell us about your squad, and we'll get the grades.
Yeah, listen, I specifically stole Scott Stevens from Rob, which for me personally makes my list just absolutely the best. Just to see his hate spew out of his body, but. I did hate Scott Stevens, and you could put Kasperitis there with
Darius.
I was every single drop of that puck back in those days. I was invested. Mm-hmm. Chip Kelly was a buffoon who thought himself the greatest person that ever lived in football. But hey, his buffoonery led to us making moves to get our first Super Bowl. So gotta love that. Al Horford. I don't do basketball quite a bit, but man, he is one that I would absolutely not want to see because I'd go nuts on him. Cutter Gauthier is a little crybaby kid who just doesn't know any better, and he's a little bitch, and I hope he hates life in Anaheim. And what can I say? Cowboys, they're the worst thing ever invented. Their fans, they're the people in their organization. From the cleaning staff to the owner to everybody who's ever even looked at their stadium, I hope they all have horrible days.
I think this is a solid A.
Here's
a really good list.
It's a very good list. Here's why I can't give it an A and I got to give it a B plus. Nobody from Major League Baseball is on your top 5 hate in Philadelphia sports. Like what I would have done, like if you would have went, because there was another guy years prior to Cutter Gauthier who did what he did, and his name was mentioned. Like if you had JD Drew there instead of Cutter Gauthier, I give you an A. 100% give you an A because you've hit every sport, and he was the original, hey, I don't want to play in Philadelphia guy. But, I mean, I understand, and from a voting standpoint, well done by you because you go with a more recent name. I think that's always good.
Yeah, listen, I certainly Joe Carter was certainly there, and I could have went there for my baseball, but it's because he came here with high expectations, did diddly shit, and then went right back to being an all-star back in Boston and torturing us with his fat piece of shit 3-pointers that he shoots. And his stupid sister wouldn't shut her.
By the way, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Al Horford is also tied to Elton Brand, who signed. I'm pretty sure Elton Brand signed Al.
Yeah,
Horford.
Because Al Horford was signed after they let Jimmy Butler go. They gave the max deal to Tobias, and they signed Al Horford all at that same time.
The Al Horford hate is just he never was a good fit. It never, ever, ever was a good fit.
And bitched about it. and sat here and bitched about it.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever bought in, to be honest. Like
He never did. He kept saying, "Oh, this I just don't know how to play this way." Like, dude, you're a veteran in the NBA. Just make it friggin' work.
And then went back to Boston and played great.
Yeah.
And I feel like he always gave Joel Embiid fits for the majority of the time.
Yeah.
All right. Ryan, I love your squad. I think pound for pound is excellent. I think people are going to vote for Chip Kelly, Al Horford, Jerry Jones, the Cowboys. Like, I think it's a really good squad. Rob, tell us about yours.
Well, look, as I said, and what tends to happen with me is I like to pick personal, and I go a little bit older. But when you look at this list of names, they're some of the most hated people in the history of Philadelphia. I mean, Scott Rowland was booed excessively when he came back here as a member of the Cardinals because of the way he left. He had all these comments. He ripped the fan base. You name it, he did it, and it was a disgrace. Michael Irvin, listen, the name itself just preaches hate, right? All the dancing. He was the first guy that would catch a ball for 5 yards and stand up and do a friggin' dance like he had a 50-yard touchdown catch. Joe Carter was just more of a, first time I felt Philadelphia sports pain was Joe Carter, and that one stings a lot of people my age. I know Ryan's around my age. Dives, you're a little younger, but I'm sure you kind of have some memories of that. So there's that. And then
I was a basketball head before I was, even though I played baseball my whole life, my first love was basketball. And I watched the Sixers. I wasn't into the Phillies at that time.
Yeah. But and then obviously the Andrew Bynum thing, because of the fanfare when they made that move. First of all, I was ecstatic because it was the end of the Andre Iguodala era here, and I hated Andre Iguodala. And I thought, oh my God, this young dude, did you not see him? He is going to be a stud. We all know what happened. And then my last one is just a personal hate. That guy's face for so many years just made me angry just to see it. So I like my list. I'd give it an A, but my guess is most people would give it a B.
I like your team and Ryan's team better than mine. I give it an A-. Scott Rowland, he was supposed to be the great one.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And it was a disaster. Michael Irvin's going to get a lot of votes. Joe Carter, even though it's before my time, is going to get a lot of votes. Andrew Bynum was horrible. He was really high on my list personally, of course. Can't comment on Barnaby, sadly. Ryan, where are you at?
Yeah, I think this is a solid B+ squad. I mean, Rowland, Irvin, Carter, those are all slam dunks. I think Bynum, a lot of people are probably going to be like, oh, yeah, I forgot about him. Like, it's where it's just like, again, he never effing played.
Nope.
Matt Barnaby certainly is more of a personal thing. And again, unless you're kind of a hardcore orange and black.
Right. I'm going to need a lot of Flyers voters to if there's a lot of Flyers people out there voting, I got a shot because Barnaby was the whole fan base hated Matthew Barnaby.
I feel like they'll probably still go with me, though.
No.
Scott Stevens, Cutter. Yeah, I got him.
Everybody gave up on the Flyers by the time the gutter situation happened. Nobody was even paying attention.
Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think more people remember Andrew Bynum and his haircut, like his hairdo.
Oh my God!
Than he will than anything else. Like, do you remember that?
Yeah, and I remember it because he stood on the sideline for 82 games that year and never played a minute. And I'll never forget when he was at the bowling thing and they got video of him running down the bowling lane, but he couldn't get on the court. It was maddening.
He was cooked.
And I like Brian Pumper's quote there. Very well done. Little hater's ball. Hater's ball.
All right, let's do a couple of honorable mentions before we get to plugs. Rob, lead us off, man. Who are some of your honorable mentions?
All right, well, we had mentioned Ty Domi and Brodeur, so here's a couple Phillies guys. David Wright, and probably because he just beat the living hell out of us for years.
Always.
Chipper Jones, which it's like he's such a good guy, but you had to hate him if you were a Phillies fan.
Larry,
I respected the hell out. He was like Mariano. Like, I just respected the shit.
Yeah, but I still found ways to hate.
No, I couldn't.
Billy Wagner.
Billy Wagner's
because of
on my
the
list.
unceremonious ending. And then if you're doing a fan base, the Mets fan base is single-handedly one of the worst in sports.
Yeah, they're scumbags.
Yeah. Basketball.
I'll
Go ahead.
Say, I'll to add to a Phillies, Gabe Kapler.
Yeah. Thought about him.
Yeah, everybody kind of hated his face. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Baseball.
Could you say Jose Reyes? Did anyone have Jose Reyes hate?
Yeah, that was a good one. He was a son of a bitch. I'll say Pete Alonso just because he's such a
Oh my God, he is.
doucher. I mean, God,
We mentioned him.
Absolute nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we mentioned JD Drew a lot. How he was.
Yeah.
I think he was on all of our lists, but like I had already had 2 Phillies, and I didn't want to go 3, and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So that's probably.
I got one name. I want to see if either of you had him because this was my Matthew Barnaby of the Eagles for a long time.
I'll give you some of mine. I'll go Tony Romo.
Okay.
Just
hate the face.
At the time, he was a hate the face.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Now he's an annoying announcer.
And watching him fail was amazing. He had some good games against the Birds, but always coming up short. Tom Brady has to be up there.
Yeah, there was a lot of hate for him.
I hate that guy.
And then, of course, Ben Simmons was really high on my list.
So football, I have to add. Pumper's just naming current Phillies.
Shocker. Pumper doesn't like anyone in current Philadelphia sports.
So for football, I have a couple, but not necessarily Eagles related. But Brett Favre.
Oh yeah.
And I was always just never a fan of his.
I always thought he was overrated.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't hate Brett Favre. I agree with Rob. I thought he was so overrated.
I thought he was extremely overrated, and I hated him.
When he retired the first time, and then he kept coming back.
Yeah, that was so annoying. Watch
every announcer and everybody just absolutely just slobbered all over him.
Watch the Netflix documentary on him, and you'll hate him even more as a human being. Holy shit, is he a creep? What a creep of a human being he is.
I have more hate to give. So.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, it's an hour, and by the end of it, oh my God, what an awful human being. Awful human being.
I think McNabb has to be on there.
See, I never hated McNabb, and that's why I couldn't.
Yeah, but listen, I get
I
it.
only hated McNabb until after.
Exactly.
But was he a villain? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he was just a big fat dork. But
He was a dork.
Hold on. I know people that have met him, and all accounts, he's a really, really solid guy.
Yeah, he just gets DUIs a lot in Arizona. But that's
can I say Angelo Cataldi?
Oh man,
there's.
Howard,
you know what? You want to know why? Listen, and for years I would have said hell yes, but I've heard him interviewed since he retired, and the whole thing is, I grew up on sports radio. I think we all kind of did in one way or the other, right? Right. He is the godfather. Right? He started it.
I get it.
So it's so hard for me to like name him a villain. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, his points drove me nuts, and I had to turn him off. I'm with you on that, so I can see why you say that.
He went senile about 30 years ago.
Hey, how about this name?
If we're going to talk reporters, who is the guy? We got to go.
Marcus Hayes.
Marcus Hayes has to be on this list.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That talk about slapping in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
on there.
Hold on, I have one. Oh yeah, Jason Tatum. I have one Eagles name.
I don't blame the Tatum Fultz thing. Fultz was by far, I think, the best fit for the Sixers. It was just
It was unequivocally seen as the only number 1 pick that the Sixers should have made.
I don't really blame the Sixers for that. I had Barbara on my team, Brendan.
Yeah. How about this name? And I know that this was, as I was starting to say, this was my Matthew Barnaby for the Eagles for the longest time.
Who?
Jeremy Shockey.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated that dude. Hated that dude.
Jeremy Shockey was awesome. You could go. Who was the Dallas guy?
Which one?
Right then.
Witten.
Jason Witten, man.
I'm more mad because we didn't draft him when we should have. But
Witten was so freaking good. Jeremy Shockey during his prime was so freaking good. I mean, Danny Watkins.
Oh my God!
But that
makes me. I almost want to.
Oh, that's just like shitty draft pick.
I almost want to name Andy Reid a villain for that draft pick. That was so bad.
All right. There it is. We will be throwing this on YouTube. Does anybody have any other honorable mentions?
Rich Kotite, Norman Brayman.
Yeah.
Eagles, old school.
We talked a lot about those guys last week.
I wasn't here. I'm sorry.
That's a good one. All right. There it is. Be on the lookout for our polls. We will be throwing those out for voting momentarily to see who has the best, most infamous villains list for Philadelphia sports. Santa Claus.
I mean, let's be honest.
Well played.
Oh, if we're gonna say Santa, can we just lump that into like Joe Buck of the 1,000 times he's brought up Santa Claus?
Oh my God! Right.
I'm the one Philadelphian who actually really appreciates Joe Buck. I like Joe Buck a lot.
Well, I mean, listen, if we, I can't have you say Joe Buck and not
say Chris Collinsworth.
Exactly.
Oh my God!
Now here's a guy. I'm telling you,
that might be the single best play I've ever seen. 37 times a season, he sees the greatest play ever. I hate him.
I hate him so much.
All right, guys. We will be throwing out those for voting. Rob, final thoughts. Time's yours, man.
Good draft. Had some fun there. I think we all have pretty good teams. I don't really care what the votes say, guys. You're all A's in my book, okay? You're all A's in my book.
Stairs hits one long into the night.
No, it stares deep into the night. I like that call. I think everybody's just a hater of Joe Buck. I think Joe Buck is one of the best in the game at doing it. I really do.
That was a weird. That moment is like one of my top like memories.
You want to know my memory of that moment, Dives?
What?
I was asleep.
No, I remember being awake.
I was asleep.
Freaking out and.
They were coming up to bat, and right before that commercial, I rolled over and went, "This is bullshit," and fell asleep and woke up in the morning, the Sports Center airing the highlight. I was like, "Oh my God."
Way to go.
I legit, like, that was such a surprise. Like, that was such a great moment. I remember that. That was right up there with the Bryce home run against the Padres, man. That was a great moment.
Great call.
That's a great call. That was a great call.
Yeah. Joe Buck ruined the Matt Stairs call. Always a pleasure. Great show. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Krabby.
Ryan, you're up, man.
Yeah, listen. I would love to suggest that we do a series of hate shows. I feel like there's a lot of hate in this room, and
I feel like we need more positive affirmations on the show.
Yeah, we need more hate shows to really.
No, I think we got to go the other way. We got to send more positivity out into the world.
No.
I feel like we do that all the time as well. I think we're like 50-50.
I don't know. I vote more hate.
Well, it's been so good lately because we've been predominantly Eagles.
There's a lot of black in this heart. Got to get it out.
Oh, it never leaves you, apparently.
Never. Once you make my list, you're on there forever.
And I've been there now on two separate occasions at the same time of the year.
Two straight years.
I love you anyway.
All right, guys. I've been crushing it with the shorts. Go check them out. 4 shorts a day over the last couple weeks. Most underrated plays from the Eagles last year. Jalen Hurts' best moments, because this nonsense that Hurts is not a top 5 quarterback and shit is ridiculous heading into next season. And most important birds, my favorite prospects in Philly sports, those are dropping all the time. So please go check those out. It's really fun. And thank you everyone for commenting as always. So he is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. He is Rob Lange at Philly_Madness. I'm Dives. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome, everyone.